So it's Monday afternoon now. The winds have dropped down a lot. We're down sort of 20 knots. Still quite big seas. But for the last like 5 hours, we gave up our course southeast for one that was more easterly, which meant we could turn downwind slightly and then put out the twin head sails. And the difference in the motion is unbelievable. Like we're doing like 9 knots over ground, like 7 or 8 through the water, a little bit out in the Gulf Stream, and it's so comfortable I could sleep and get some rest. And Nikki's just putting some pasta on, and we've just been sort of recuperating a little bit after last night, which was, to be honest, a total dicking. But it kind of has got us where we want, so it's one of those things, a bit of a play-off. And the reason why we need to be so far south is becoming clear because there's a big low pressure coming through, I think, Thursday, Friday next. This coming Thursday, Friday. And we need to be somewhere down below latitude 35. So the more southing we can get in before then, the better. Let's have a look then. We'll see the damage.
My bruise?
You're bruised.
My bruise came out today. Try and do it without you showing you my bum.
Ooh, that is a corker.
My bum saved my head. Because
Thank you, ass.
I did hit my head, but not with half the force as if I didn't hit that table with my bum first, so I'm quite grateful.
An omelette for lunch because we sort of accidentally maybe bought a few too many eggs, don't know.
Yeah, we over-budgeted on the eggs.
Yeah, so the ones we can't refrigerate we're having a big omelette. I've had a haircut.
Yay!
Very much a different morning to yesterday morning.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bumpy. We're making really good progress, aren't we? Like doing 10 knots.
Didn't we do like 200 miles yesterday?
201 miles yesterday.
Yeah.
So basically, ever since we turned slightly more downwind and put the twin head sails out, we've been flying. I mean, obviously we were in the Gulf Stream as well, so.
Yeah, it's been really nice. Yeah, so had a shower a minute ago, and the difference it makes you feel is amazing. You get so sticky when you're sailing because obviously with all the salt in the air and it collects on your skin, and then that attracts moisture, so you're always sticky. You can never kind of get dry. Combined with it being really, really humid and hot, and you just kind of like this horrible, gross feeling, and even sponge washers don't really do the job. So I had a proper shower, which was really nice, and yeah, just about to have some lunch. But yeah, it's a nice day.
This is just the most perfect sailing. It's what it's all about. Just cannot fucking beat it. I'm one of the luckiest people alive to have been able to do this. But then, like on Sunday night, I would have probably said something completely different. You know, it can be hell on earth and it can be heaven on earth. Just depends what nature has to say about the occasion, I suppose. Been reading a passage in this is Jimmy Cornell's Cruising Routes, World Cruising Routes book. It's a very good book. This is the passage between Bermuda and the Azores, which obviously for us now applies. It says an area to be avoided is at 35 degrees 22 minutes 25 north, 51 degrees 29.29 west, where a suspiciously shallow spot was reported by a yacht on passage to the Azores in the summer of 2003. The wreck of a sailing yacht was clearly visible on the bottom at this reported location. So until this report is fully investigated, it is recommended that the area to avoid the area, especially in rough weather. This here is the plotted position of those coordinates. It's near what they call the corner seamount. So anyway, it puts it right on our passage to the Azores, which is over here. It literally lies right in our way, and I'm a little bit worried about it. I don't know what to do because we're going to be crossing it when we get this big low pressure passing here to the north of us, and the chances are our course is actually the best course would be to cross right over it, and that sort of thing shits me right up. So we're going to have to come up with another plan. So this is the situation at the moment. We're down here, the little white dot, and this is the problem. This is Chris Parker has advised us to get as far south as we can. Without sailing due south, we couldn't have done much better, and I have pretty much followed his instruction, which so far have been pretty good. But I think the weather has changed a lot, because we would continue sailing from this dot. Forget these other boats. I'm not going to do that northern route now. We're too far south already. So we're going to sail on a sort of 125 degrees down like this until the wind starts coming more from the southwest, and then we'll follow it around, start going east, and eventually northeast. So this is the gusting wind strength. So it's building from now. So by the time they're up there, we'll be down here somewhere, latitude 35, maybe latitude 34, I don't know. And then there's just no avoiding that. It's basically that there. It doesn't matter if you're 50, 40, 30 down here. It's just 40 knots all the way, 39 knots, and this is always under the gust speeds. So basically we're going to get a dicking. There's no two ways about it. There's nowhere else to go. It doesn't matter whether we were further south, further north. This is going to be, if this comes to pass, which I think it will, because it's within a forecastable time. This is some fairly big seas and big winds. We just have to take it the best we can, batten down the hatches and hope for the best. But anyway, the wave data is, oh, look at that. So that's why they're going around the north, isn't it? Because the wave isn't quite so big. The run line course it does, and to the south it does. So unfortunately, if that comes true, Chris's tactic of going south is going to be, because then you're in areas of, average wave heights of 3.2, 3.5 metres. That means you'll see waves of 4.5 metres probably. That's super wet, super rough.
There's a little cold beer and bread, or potentially slightly cool stuff to make a rum cocktail.
What is there? Should we have a little rum? Save a bit before we're getting gone over, aren't you?
Yeah. So you've had a quick look through the weather, what do you think?
We're doomed!
We're all doomed.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a couple of shitty days. Well, I'm just like, all these predicted wind models would take us north, right into, the wind looks alright, but the gusts are like in the 50s, so you just wouldn't want to be up there in that. And Chris is saying go south of the run line. To avoid those gusts, which is great, but it would put us more in the way of the waves.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. I look at it, and all I can see is a massive area of the same sort of strength winds, which you can't sail around. So you've got to go through it. And if you're going to do that, you might as well just go straight on the run line.
Yeah, and just try and stay out of that black spot where it's like 50 knots.
We'll definitely be to the south of that now anyway.
Yeah, because we're already heading that direction.
I mean, doing this massive detour, if you can avoid, something big, is fine. But if you can't, then why are you doing a massive detour? If you eventually have to go through the same conditions anyway, we might as well just take it I don't know, good decision.
But also, I'm kind of like, we've paid for all of this program and everything, and then we're kind of ignoring it to listen to that one other guy.
I know.
Which we've never done before.
I know, that's true.
So.
Is he a distraction?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be where I am now because it really hasn't served us any great purpose to be here. Anyway. More importantly, what do you think of this freaking shallow spot?
Yeah, we've got to, whatever happens, avoid that, and we're going to be a lot closer to it going south with Chris's advice than we would be predicting. So.
Yeah. I reckon we just let the boat take us where it wants to go, like the most comfortable.
The most comfortable. Yeah, we're going to get big waves and a lot of wind, whatever happens, but we've got to avoid that spot, and everywhere around it. I don't want to be seeing 3 meters and like yachts on the bottom of the water.
Sunken boats on the bottom. No, that was pretty right there.
Especially in rough weather, which it's going to be. Day 5 of our trip. Had a really nice calm sail last night, all downwind, apparent winds of about between 10 and 15 knots, and we've got the twin head sails out, so that just really steadies the boat with any sort of leftover swell. We're heading due east now, so we've been turning gradually overnight as the winds come round. We've been going from southeast round to more of an easterly direction. So we're on a much more direct route to the Azores now, which is nice. Just keeping to the north of the really shallow patch, which we were talking about the other day, which Ben has marked on the chart plotter with like a skull and crossbones symbol, so we know where that is. And we're going to try and keep like at least 50 miles away from it.
Perfectly calm sailing. I think we've got less than a metre of swell. I think about like 12 to 15 knots of wind behind us. And the moon's not up yet. It's the first night that I've been and watched the moon hasn't been out, and there's bioluminescence just blasting out from the sides of the boat. It's like stars below you and stars above you. It's just, something that's so beautiful. But there's a thing to sailing that I think, I don't know, we've done several thousand miles now, but I spend my days on these long passages staring at the water, and there's an infinite randomness to the way water moves. I mean, you could talk to a scientist about fluid dynamics and they'll try and explain it to you, but the human brain has an ability to spot patterns, but I think the sea in movement under the influence of wind and nature and the weather systems is completely unpredictable. There's no patterns in it, and that's why it's so fascinating. That's why I can watch it for hour after hour after hour. And if you don't enjoy watching the sea like that, then maybe sailing and being on the ocean is not the place for you. I don't know, but it's hypnotizing, it's entertaining. I can spend virtually endless amounts of time just staring at the water and the way it moves, and it always changes. Like, a few hours later it's completely different. I wish the people who watch this and who have aspirations to sail get to see it one day, get to experience it. It comes at a price. Yeah, there's discomfort, there's lots of things you can complain about. I mean, at the moment the humidity day and night is incredible. The dampness that you cannot eradicate from the boat or your bedding or your clothes, and the saltiness and all that sort of stuff, but you just got to suck that up and enjoy that as well. It's all part of the whole thing. But yeah, the benefits outweigh the downsides, in my view, a long way. coming to the end of Thursday, June 20th. It's been another day of calm seas, sort of 15, well, maximum 15 knot winds, sort of somewhere between 10 and 15 knots, cruising along under full sail and making about sort of 6 knots and occasionally 7. And it's yeah, it's comfortable sailing. So yeah, it's been another just typical day on the ocean. So what are you thinking? It's definitely getting a bit nautical out here already.
Well, I'm just looking at the waves. So this is supposedly now like 2 meters.
Yeah.
Which is probably about what we've got.
Yeah.
So it's getting a bit worse overnight.
Yeah. But have you looked at the PWE one?
No, this is the first one I looked at.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the difference between.
Like,
yeah.
over a meter's difference.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's going to continue to get
all the way through till Sunday night. Well, early hours of Monday morning.
Oh yeah.
So
that's like 4 days of douching.
Yeah.
Are you ready for that?
Can't wait.
Right, good morning. It's losing track of the date now. It's the 25th of June. We're still smashing along, doing 8 knots, I think, 7 or 8 knots. Wind at 60 degrees, so it's really uncomfortable. It's been like this for the last 24 hours or so. And before that, it was quite big swells, like 3 meters or more. So for the last 5-6 days we haven't recorded hardly anything. It's just been too exhausting. We've tried to do a little bit on the GoPro and then unfortunately we haven't really filmed very much more than that. Needless to say, we're both pretty knackered now. it's exactly how I expected it, and obviously Nikki was aware as well, so we're just sort of hunkered down, we're getting as much rest as we can, but we've both got to the point now where it doesn't matter almost how many hours in the sack you get or how much sleep you get, the exhaustion won't quite go away, it's always there. Just downloading the weather now, and we haven't got, and the wind that we have got at the moment is going to peter out, I think, sometime later today, and then it looks like we're in for some sort of high pressure weather, which is going to be calms, and if it is, I think we've got virtually all of our diesel left, so I think we'll, just for the sake of getting in and not getting in a situation where the next weather system overtakes us and we're quite far north, that we might end up in headwinds. So yeah, we'd likely to be, if that's the case, can sort of average out our speed and know that we'll be there in probably 4 days. So it's, I think, Tuesday today, so we'll either get there late Saturday or Sunday, I would think, which isn't too bad. So 14 to 15 days is kind of what we expected. But yeah, I can't say it's been easy. It's the highlights have been there, but it's otherwise it's a slog. It's just a slog. But anyway, looking forward to getting in. Finally, Mother Ocean has calmed down and we've got some nice calm conditions. About time too. We've kind of, been a bit exhausting for a while there. It's nice, we've just got enough wind to sail. Like, it's coming from the southeast now, got a light wind, probably less than 10 knots, but it's enough that we can make sort of 5, just over 5, maybe 5.5 knots at about 60 degrees, going pretty much where we want. So just take some time and relax, drink a beer on the back deck, watch the sun go down. Day 12. We haven't really filmed much the last couple of days, with only 2 of us being on board. Usually when one person is awake, the other one's asleep, and we're not really up that much together at the same time. So yeah, we've been pretty tired. It hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. I did think it was going to be really, really hard work staying awake, but it's not been too bad. We started off doing sort of 3 hours on, 3 hours off, but we've just adapted that to sort of how tired we felt really. So for instance, last night we were both up around dinner time, and then Ben had about an hour's sleep, and then he was on from, I think he did 9 till 1, and I did 1 until 5:30. I went back to bed till about 10, I think, and then he went back to bed, and it's now 2 o'clock, so he's still in bed now.
So we're tending to sort of do between 4 and 5 hours each, I suppose. And that seems fine. I mean, if one of us is really tired, the other one will just do a bit longer and vice versa. But yeah, it's been good, and we've lost wind now, so yeah, I mean, there's like 5 knots of wind or less. So yeah, we're just going to be motoring in the rest of the way. If we're lucky, we might be able to motor sail. He's a turtle, but he's totally encrusted with barnacles, and he was definitely moving, but I hope he's alright.
It's like a really old one.
Go around and have a look.
Yeah. He's alright.
He's definitely alive. He's just...
I think he's really old. Having a bit of a rest, or is he right at the end, think?
I don't know.
Very sad, but he would have swum away otherwise, I reckon.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is us back on course. Due east.
Hey, mate.
Good luck, mate.
You keeping busy?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Just getting all the old crappy varnish off?
Yeah, it's all going, like, the varnish is starting to hold the moisture on the bottom, so it's like rotting the bottom surface of it
Yeah.
because it's getting in behind, so it just needs, cleaning back and letting dry, and then sand it, and then start to put more varnish back on.
What, another like 3 coats in there or something?
No, probably 7.
What?
7 to 10.
Oh.
I know. Three will do for a while, but then you got to carry on. I mean, you don't have to do them all at once.
Dolphins! Oh my god, I've been wanting to see a whale so much. Come back! Are you trying to sail in this?
Yeah.
What have we got?
About 5 knots of wind. 6 or 7 knots of wind.
Oh. Very peaceful.
It is, isn't it?
Must be whale watch. I don't think he's going to come back though.
I'm wondering if the squeaking of the autopilot will be like some mating call. You get like 30 sperm whales come smashing in on the boat for a gangbang.
Not sure how I feel about that.
No. Good morning. As you can hear, we're still motoring, but under full sail, so we're kind of motor sailing. The wind's come round. It was dead easterly, and now it's just slightly north of east, so we're on a course slightly south of east. It's a shame to be motoring, really, but with this boat, it's what it kind of does best. It's a motor sailor. It's meant to motor under sail, so the engine's at about 750 RPM. Doesn't use any fuel really at that rate. And we're doing like 7 knots, so at a wind angle of about 25 degrees, 30 degrees to the wind, so 30 degrees to the wind. Anyway, what other things, other observations? There were lots of dolphins or porpoises swimming like sort of luminescent torpedoes at night, and then just splashing around and jumping and fishing and all sorts during the day. They seem to be everywhere. Then my other observation of this whole trip, but particularly this last bit, has been the Portuguese man of war. There are so many of them. They're incredible. The colour that they are like, I don't know, purple, pink, sort of see-through, almost glowing, pasty-shaped, floating, just quite trippy looking things, really. they are everywhere. They're, like at one point I could look out and count 20 in a small patch we were just sailing past. So they're definitely prolific out here this time of year. The other thing is the climate is just so much nicer since we entered the Azores high, which we did like a day or so ago, and in the space of 6 hours the pressure went up from about 1010 to 1027, and the atmosphere is now bone dry in comparison to what it was. There's no damp in the air, no condensation, the boat's drying out nicely, my clothes feel dry, the bed's dry. It's just, the difference is incredible. It's made it so much nicer. So despite the fact we've had to motor because there's been no wind, it's been a lot more comfortable. Anyway, that'll do for now. Enough for me gabbling on. We've got about 2 days. Should be in 2 days, I think, and hopefully we should be able to sail the last, like maybe 24 hours if we're lucky.
Look at this.
It's all cut through.
That's all mould. That's how damp everything got. It's just like all corroded, and then all that's mould.
Looks like it's been in sea for a month, a couple of weeks.
Too long, yeah.
Go, man. I love it. Look at that fucker. Oh, it's like a kid in a bath time. Dude, that's so cool. Oh, I love you guys. Mind the jellyfish. Bedtime, my sweet?
Yeah.
I'll wake you up at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
Not.
lad. No, wake me up in 3 hours' time. That'll do.
Yeah, it's weird. This morning it seems like we're the centrepiece of some sort of epic masterpiece. It's this little bobbling ornament of a boat, and this just, you know, endless sort of spacious tapestry surrounded by a border of cloud low down, clear skies up above, heavy rain over there. Yeah, it just feels like it's going to be epic for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe my morning coffee will be epic. It's a lovely morning. So it's like the third day we've been motoring. I've just been in the engine room, and the portside tank, or portside fuel filter, which is the tank we're running off now, and I noticed there's quite a lot of water and shit in the bowl of the fuel filter, so I'm going to switch back to this tank and drain that one down. Obviously I think looks like probably the deck cap's been just leaking a tiny bit, because it's been, you know, the first part of the trip was so incredibly wet. I guess that's all it is. It probably just needs a new rubber seal in it. Real job to do today. So that's all the water that was in the filter. You can see the tiny little bit of red that came through afterwards. It was just floating around on top. That's actually the diesel, and the yellowy stuff is sort of tainted water. But I've got to say that's nothing really. I mean, the other tank had nothing in it at all. And for the beating we got early on, like 2 days, 3 days of it being, the side decks being completely submerged every 5 minutes, that's really not bad for an old boat. I mean, just testament to how well it was designed in the first place and how well it's been put together and maintained, really.
What are you cooking?
I'm cooking a risotto with the last of our kind of fresh veg, really. We've got a bit of pepper left, some squash, and one mushroom's gone in there, and chorizo. Got no white wine though, so it's going to have sherry in it.
That'll be alright.
Questionable, but alright. But yeah, it's the last night aboard, so using up all their bits and bobs.
Well, this is last evening meal aboard.
I hope so. I hope we're going to get about 6 o'clock tomorrow, and then we can go and have some food in the bar or something.
That'd be nice.
Get off the bloody boat. Good night. Sleep well.
Good night. Wake up in 4 hours, 3 hours or whatever. Whenever you're tired.
So it is 4 o'clock in the morning. Ben's just woken me up, and it is our last day at sea. We are due in tonight, I think, about 6 or 7 p.m. And I must say, I'm glad that is the last time I have to wake up at this time in the morning. I'm pretty tired.
All over everything. All the windows. So it is June 29th and it's about lunchtime and I can see land. It's awesome. Taking a while to sink in really. I'm so tired I can't really appreciate what I'm seeing, but there is something quite special about volcanic islands that just stick straight out of the sea. When you've been at sea for so long, everything just seems flat. You know, everything you see is sort of on the horizontal. But Pico's different. Pico really fucking sticks up. So reminds me of approaching the Canary Islands, like particularly Tenerife. I guess they're formed in the same way. But yeah, not long now, like 6 hours or something. What is it?
Land! I'm so excited! Oh, that looks so good.
It does, doesn't it?
So good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We made it.
All about this too much. What's there left to say? Throw your stones the river. Like me, it drifts away. I would watch you stare.
Oh, squeegee it clean with the air.
I would watch you stare. Oh, but there's no one there. We can figure this out. Put your feet down.
Like it? Rumpy.